I have a question.
What's up?
Little fight talk. Let's move over to the UFC for a sec. I did not see the Paige. I know that Paige.
You didn't see the fight card?
I saw the fight. I saw Mickey beat Sage. I didn't see Michelle Waterson, Paige VanZant.
So you only saw Paige, or you only saw Mickey and Sage?
I saw Mickey and I saw one other fight, which will come to me in a sec. But my question is this to you.
Okay.
Do you think that...
That's why I started Big Man Breakdowns.
Well, Mickey's... No, I watch all the fights.
Yeah,
I just didn't get... But I feel as though...
You're talking about Mickey right now?
No, I'm talking about Mickey Gall.
You're talking about the Mickey Gall and Sage Northcutt fight. Okay.
And I'm saying this with respect, but I want your take on this. I feel like, is it fair to say that Sage has a little bit of a heart issue? As in, could have fought Mickey Gall off for a little longer, gives up. I know he got caught in that choke, but...
I think that's always a weird argument. It's like, and the thing with Paige and stuff like I said, strike up the She's So Tough band, because that's... Like, if that's your go-to, if that's your...
You're going to let somebody choke you unconscious, yeah.
But I've never understood that. Like, okay, so Sage was legit. He was caught in the choke. Mickey Gall's a legit brown belt. Legit brown belt. The commentators give him a little too much credit when it comes to jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but you're caught, man. So it's very strange to me when in a rear naked, it's over, man. So people
That's for sure.
But people are like, oh, he tapped his... You want him to go to sleep? It doesn't make him any less tough.
See, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about more...
When you say heart, and the other thing is when they go... The knock on Sage, too, when he got caught in the head and arm, that's a different choke. He could have fought that more. They said he was on antibiotics, especially for his throat. So that's the argument there. That's a different choke. The rear naked...
I'm not talking about that, though. That's actually not what I'm asking. Because I think when you get caught in the rear naked, you know, right? So he's gonna.
I know, but you just said, is it true because he tapped?
What
early.
I'm saying is that when Mickey Gall got his back, and he's fighting for, you're fighting hands here. You're in this hand fighting thing. My feeling is that there are certain fighters. Now it's tricky because I don't know how good Mickey Gall is. He's very good at taking your back, but there are certain fighters that come hell or high water are going to keep hand fighting, and they're not going to let you get that position.
That's tough, B.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
You're asking, what are you asking?
I'm wondering
You think he gave him the choke?
I'm wondering if he is...
He's not experienced. But this is the other thing, that fight, I'm going to bet you out on this, that fight as a co-main event on Fox has no business being there.
Okay.
No business being there.
Right.
You got a guy who's 3-0. You got Sage Northcutt who, came off Dana White's show. He has so much more to learn.
Right.
And so that happens. When you're 3-0 and the other guy's 8-1 or whatever the fuck
that's going to happen.
It's happened. Both of them are going to be really good fighters. Neither of them have any business being a co-main event on Fox.
Because they're just too young. They're
too young. They both have,
enough.
like, Mickey Gall's stand-up is so amateur. It's not even funny. Sage Northcutt has a lot of the tools. He's athletic. You can question his heart. You know what I'm saying? I can see how people question.
When he was coming in, he was getting caught.
A little bit, but again, it's just them being overzealous, and it's not that he doesn't have the skills stand-up-wise, but he doesn't have a lot of experience in the UFC.
Young guy. How old is Sage? Really
21,
young.
20, 21. They're young, but so that's what you get as a co-main event.
Right.
And
that's fair.
But this is the problem with the UFC is this day and age, this ship is not headed. It's not going to give you the best product. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the two best fighters are not fighting as the main event anymore.
Right.
The two best fighters are not fighting as the co-main event anymore.
Right.
The two most popular fighters will fight as the co-main event.
Gotcha.
The two best who are good at selling tickets will fight as your main event these days. Now you have an entertainment business owns the UFC. So what they want to do is sell tickets.
Right.
The same with you're going to see CM Punk fight again for this reason in the UFC. I guarantee you.
Really?
And you see him creating these belts because they have this huge debt that they have to pay off.
Yeah.
So Paige coming from Dancing with the Stars, Paige has no business fighting a woman of Michelle's caliber.
Really? I didn't know that.
No. And she's ranked higher. Paige, Michelle Waterson's been doing it way longer, has more skills, was a world champion in another league. Like, they're not even comparable.
Wow.
But the media gets honey-dicked, and the UFC goes, okay, Paige is very good looking. She's tough enough. Let's put all our eggs in that basket. Mark, put her on Dancing with the Stars, and now people want to see her fight.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the public, it's their job, if they want, whether or not to buy into this marketing game that the UFC is doing, because it's honey dicking at its finest. I can't think of a better word. I know I keep saying honey dick, but you're not getting the best foot forward from the UFC.
Yeah.
What you're getting is the best foot forward as far as selling tickets.
Well, you're
now.
getting entertainment, right? So the emphasis is more
like
on
Mickey Gall versus Sage
skill.
is a fun fight.
Yeah.
That should be on the prelims.
The reason it was a fun fight is I just wanted to see what Mickey Gall would do with a kid like Sage, who's, you know, a legit UFC fighter and very, very athletic. You know, I didn't realize how young Sage was.
Legit's
man.
a tough,
That's a young guy.
Legit
man.
Compared to who?
Yeah, well, he's so young. You give him time. Give Sage time.
That's not the way the UFC works.
Right.
There's no time. Time is not on your side. Time. You don't have time to develop. You don't. And I think Mickey is doing a great job, you know, the way he's calling out, you know, he called out Dan Hardy, which is, you know, it's a stretch, but he's doing a good job calling guys out and getting these fights.
Dan Hardy?
Mm-hmm. Dan wants to fight again.
Oh.
So he's, you know, he's trying to get the biggest possible, easiest fight, biggest name. Mm-hmm. I respect that. He has good grappling skills, but if he fights a legit 170er in the UFC who's a vet, he's gonna have his hands full right. He's not at that level yet.
Right.
Remember, he signed with only, I think, 2 fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're not, and it's not a matter of, you know, those guys having hearts or anything like that. And I hate the toughness stuff. I hate to tell you guys, anyone who stepped foot in the UFC in that octagon is tougher than anyone you know.
Tough as shit.
So just to keep saying,
you can no. That's not no. But you can also say, but then there are fighters that have this extra backpack there is a difference in fighters. Some fighters are just like, they just are ridiculous. They're just, and maybe it's self-destructive, but they are going to die before they quit, right? So Tim Elliott is an example of that. He's just, when I think of him, he's just so ridiculous.
Demetrius Johnson didn't have that choke in the same way.
I'm just saying. I mean,
I guess we can do levels of toughness, but the thing is, if your only attribute is
toughness,
yeah. Everyone's tough to get to that dance. Yeah. Hate to tell you guys.
And also,
you can't use that adjective to label someone as tough.
But a left hook to the jaw or a choke is not, no matter how tough you are, you're going to go to sleep if it's used the right way.
And I hate to tell, if you think toughness is find it till you go to sleep, that's not tough. Some would argue that's stupidity. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. It's over. You're caught. Well, let's just go to sleep.
Right.
Okay, doesn't matter. Right. It's the same result whether you tap now or there. It doesn't matter. And depending on the level of the guy on your back, it really doesn't matter.
Well, you know, I always talk about how much I like...
Because with Paige, the very first thing, and some of the biggest analysts in the game go, God, they don't congratulate Michelle Waterson for this amazing job, destroying her in her hometown. They go, boy, did Paige fight that. She's so goddamn tough.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
If that's your number one comment on her, the skills aren't there. They're just not, and it's not her fault. I like Paige. She has a huge future. She has a huge future. People go, oh, well, you said it's better for the sport if she wins. It is. Not based off the UFC's entertainment model, it is. Not based off skill-wise. Michelle's so much more skilled than her, it's not funny. It's very evident in that fight.
Mm. Well, also, I've always admired fighters that don't get hit. That's why I love Floyd Mayweather, and he takes a lot of shit for not getting hit or not engaging, or they say taking pot shots. Meanwhile, he doesn't get touched. And the last time I think I saw him get hit was by Sugar Shane Mosley in all his fights, and he fight, you know, some of the best.
Oh, yeah,
in the
hit
world.
by Ortiz.
Yeah. But I mean, overall,
it's
this guy
boxing
doesn't take punishment.
It's boxing too. Yeah.
But guys who can avoid that. I mean, Anderson Silva for a long time avoided getting hit. Great fighters like that who are able to do that. You know, George St. Pierre for a long time. I mean, he was a very cautious fighter. After he got knocked out by Matt Serra, he changed his style. He was a very cautious fighter and would find your weakness.
And you're saying you like that?
I do. Well, I think it's smart fighting. I think it's a smart way to fight. I think if you're really tough, like you could use an example like Chris Lieben is tough. He had a great chin. He would take a lot of punishment.
He didn't have a lot of skill.
There you go.